Hi, I'm Dave Johnson, and I would like to talk about an opportunity. In fact, an invitation to make a difference in the world. And a thing I've heard is that a big difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is the way they deal with problems. Successful people try to solve problems, and unsuccessful people try to avoid problems. There's a problem that's getting harder to avoid, and it's also the idea that the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And here's a big problem out here. For the first time in the history of civilization, the rising generation has a lower life expectancy than the present generation. This is scary stuff. In fact, there's a lot of books out there that talk about things. And just to put a few things together, wow, in the Western world, diabetes is absolutely out of control. Nearly 10% of the US population has it. 15 years from now, one third to one half of certain population groups are predicted to be affected. And a real life cautionary tale, it says that in India, there's already 72 million diabetics in 2019, projected to top 200 million by 2050. Autism, we've all heard of that. One out of 10,000 kids had it in 1990. It's not that long ago. One out of 10,000. In 2021, it's one out of 27 boys. Rising fast. By 2025, Stephanie Seneff, a PhD research person at MIT, projects 25% of all children born in the US will eventually be diagnosed by some type of autism spectrum. Oh, heart disease. Before 1920, it was very rare. Now it's competing with cancer as our leading killer. Well, cancer, wow, almost a half of males will get it sometime in their life. That's a scary statistic. If that doesn't get you concerned, I don't know what will. Alzheimer's. Okay, Alzheimer's is now believed by many to have overtaken both cancer and heart disease as America's #1 killer. All the numbers haven't come in yet and hasn't been all put together, but it's leading that way. Allergies, about 33% of people have allergies, and 50% of school children have it. Just all sorts of just scary stuff out there. Autoimmunity, all kinds of things. When I was younger, if you even heard of the name of a disease, it was advanced life. It happened much later in life. Today, we're hearing about bad stuff happening more often and sooner in life. But I've got some slides I'd like to share with you. And okay, concerned about the future of humanity? Because you should be. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this. Disease rates are out of control. And if you've ever gone to a grocery store and just looked at people's shopping carts, hopefully not your own, there's a lot of stuff in there that really isn't food by any stretch of the imagination. It's ultra processed things disguised as food. And this is one of the things, we are what we eat. Well, 2/3 of the calories consumed by children and adolescents, and I would say probably a lot of adults, comes from ultra processed food. This is ever increasing. We're told that to be healthy, you need to add things to your life. Add good nutrition, add pure, clean water, lots of it, get plenty of rest, exercise. All of these are just big factors. And going back to that first slide, overfed and undernourished, that's us. And here's another thing though. Could it be something besides just eating bad stuff? Well, are you toxic? A toxin is a chemical that damages an organism. And going back to fast food and processed food, 100% of the food samples tested positive for bad stuff. Heavy metals, lead, cadmium, heavy metals are bad for your body. So arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury, all of those sorts of things, they interfere with the body's normal mechanisms. And so here's an idea. Your body isn't defective. The real problem is your environment, and toxics may be taking over your body. I think more and more we're hearing about heavy metals, body burden, toxicity. And Wow, we're inundated every day with various combinations of over 70,000 known environmental toxins. And so a corrupted environment is what's really driving this health dysfunction, disease, early demise. Wow. Again, toxins interfere with normal cellular mechanisms. And just as an experiment, think of anything bad that you don't want, just anything at all, type it into your browser, make a space, and then add heavy metals and click, and you're going to find just an alarming correlation between bad stuff that happens to your body and toxicity. It's everywhere. It affects everything. Here's some things that we can't even spell. In fact, there's big categories: PFAs, polyfluorinated, acrylamides, different things that just really mess you up. Probably when you think of polyfluoral things would be Teflon. And most of us have thrown out our Teflon pans, but have you thrown out your dental floss? Glide is Teflon, and it's everywhere. If you've ever had a bag of microwave popcorn, and I really encourage you not to, it's full of all kinds of chemicals, but the bag itself is actually coated, that shiny, smooth bag. If you're familiar with that, you've probably noticed that maybe on the inside of a pizza box or other places. This is these chemicals that are fluorine compounds that can really do a lot of damage to your body, and they never break down. Hence, they're called forever chemicals. And we live in a forever chemical crisis. Before we're even born, just being in supposedly the safest place there is, your mother's womb, well, your mom is exposed to these things by just drinking water, eating food, touching things, breathing air. All of that stuff comes in, and they've found an alarming hundreds of toxins in umbilical cord blood. So you're born into this world and you already have toxins in you. Well, is there a solution? Here's a powerful thought right here. Of the trillions of cells that make up our body, if every one of those cells were healthy, you could not be sick. And so, wow, the healthy cell concept. How can you have all of your cells be healthy? And think about this. All those myriad of diseases, they're simply describing symptoms of malfunctioning cells in different body systems or an organ or whatever. But if all of those cells were functioning, there would not be dis-ease. And so choosing health just is giving your cells everything they need, equally critical, keeping them away from the toxins that they don't need. And Avini Health, this is what we do. This, again, it's not your body that's defective, it's your environment. And so Avini, we're all about removing the obstacles and barriers that prevent your body from doing what it's designed to do. And so what can we do about it? What if there was a scientific breakthrough and it was supported by multiple clinical studies that proved that you could effortlessly, elegantly, just by putting drops in your mouth, it would enter your bloodstream and go up and down all of your blood vessels, looking for heavy metals and safely removing them by urinary excretion. And it was actually proven to work. And wow. So here's what we do. As Avini distributors, we're in the toxic removal business, and we specialize in the human body. Of course, if you have a loved one that happens to be a cat or a horse or a dog, their bodies too, and their body has burdens. And I believe we can help any living thing with toxins. This is something that is not a new experiment. Rick Deitch is a premier biochemist, a formulator that has a track record of doing billions of dollars in the sales of products that he's developed over a lot of years. What's exciting is this product, it's had several false starts. He always wanted to just be a research person and develop product. He didn't want to own a company. And so he would license or be a vendor for all of these other companies. And I was actually introduced to Rick 5 years ago when I had a personal health challenge. And I didn't want to do the standard medical care for that, which would leave me damaged. That the ideal treatment would be doing something where you come out of it actually healthier than when you went into it, rather than messed up. That's what got me excited about using this product. And so I personally have actually used this product under 4 different labels. And I'm so excited to say that over the 20 years of what we call Detoxolite, which is a trademark form of this product, that it's at its very best, and it's held and run by a company that's owned by the biochemist. And so we don't have to worry about people driving their company off into a ditch or doing something goofy. So here we have a product with a 20-year track record of helping thousands of people, including myself. And again, it is the healthy cell concept, giving ourselves what they need, but equally critical, taking away or avoiding them getting the bad stuff. And if it's already there, it can get it out. So Cell Defender is the only micronized and activated. These are words that were coined by Rick when he first came out with this. Okay, so zeolite, it's a natural mineral. It's a major part of the Earth's crust. And there's several categories of this mineral. Clinoptilolite is a specific form that has a unique crystalline structure. Now, these little crystal cages are microscopic, and it combines some amazing ideas. The shape and size of the crystal, the charge of it, makes it selective. So it loves bad things, but has little interest in the good things. So as an example, it loves lead and mercury and cadmium, but zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, healthy minerals that are important, it has little interest in that. So that's absolutely amazing. This is something that's been around for hundreds of years. If you look around, you can find this in a powder or tablets or capsules, and it works superb as an intestinal cleanser. The breakthrough with Rick was making the particles small enough so that they would actually enter the bloodstream instead of just remaining in the digestive tract and, doing good things there. But if you could actually bring this on site to where the bad stuff is and take it out safely and effortlessly through urinary excretion, this is just such an amazing breakthrough that helps people. Again, if maybe a lot of the health problems are because of heavy metals and toxins, simply being able to remove them, it's something that you could just do yourself by putting these drops on your tongue. Oh my goodness, this is a big breakthrough. I'm just thrilled to let people know about it. Also, as I've shared this with my friends, I found that probably 80% of the people have never even heard of zeolite, let alone clinoptilolite. Easy for me to say. So clinoptilolite, and then talking about activated and micronized. So we need to let people know about this. There's actually some other things as well. Now, one of the fundamental ideas about zeolite is it's been used everywhere. It's in water treatment, a lot of industrial processes, certainly many health applications. As an example, in animal feed, it's real easy, too easy for maybe that feed bag to get some moisture and get mold growing in it. And those aflatoxins from the mold could make an animal very sick. That can be protected by adding powdered zeolite. And so this is something that's been used. Now, along that idea, it famously loves filthy and bad stuff to the point that actually clinoptilolite is a component of kitty litter that even loves stink. They dumped tons of it on Chernobyl because it loves small, highly charged particles, including radioactive isotopes. It's a big deal. Rick's unique idea was making it small enough so it goes systemic. But also, going back to the animal feed, they were concerned, well, maybe it might suck up healthy things as well as the bad stuff. And so they actually studied these animals and found that their nutrient profile was actually higher than the control group. So actually this potentiates and helps nutritional things work better. And so Rick has added this to all of his other products to make them work better. Now, this is micronized and activated, but it's not the same particle size that would make it systemic. It's a little bit bigger, so it remains in the digestive tract. And this is where a lot of your immune system lives, is in the digestive tract. Well, Z-immunity with zeolite, it's a combination of 7 high-power, amazing medicinal mushrooms. As an example, Agaricus blazei. That was studied in Japan when they discovered an amazing blue zone in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and found that mushroom was unique to that area. They brought it back to Japan, and it's just the rage over there. Everybody's doing it. Well, Rick got interested in mushrooms years ago, and what this is using the synergy of several mushrooms and then growing them on a particular substrate and also competitively all together, which makes all of those active things in the mushrooms work even better. Beta glucans and all these wonderful things are actually in higher concentrations and potentiated with Rick's special zeolite. This gives it what it says right here, a powerful therapeutic punch. And it's something you can take all the time. Protection against seasonal colds and flu as an example. Maybe echinacea, golden seal, some of those things might be appropriate, but you would never want to take them all the time. And also there's a concern that it can actually stimulate or even overstimulate. We've all heard of cytokine storm, scary stuff like that, where the immune system gets hysterical. This product here actually, as Rick says, it's like handing your immune system walkie-talkies. It improves cellular or specifically immune communication. So it works better. It gives the proper response. And so just reading the label here, full spectrum immune complex, powerful antioxidant, aids in detoxifying the body, improves cardiovascular health, aids in lipid stabilization. This is really a wonderful, wonderful product if you're concerned about your immune system or just overall health. I love this stuff. Modulating the immune system, we've had people where allergies or improper immune response has been dramatically helped. Plus fiber. When Rick was the chief science officer for Rexall, that was a company that did billions of dollars of product with Rick. And I've just got to stop right here. When he was with other companies, one of the common things, if you're just an excited biochemist wanting to make the very best stuff, it would be very frustrating when the company would say, we like the product, but we don't like the price point. What can you take out to make it cheaper? And I love this idea where Avini, where in-house, we've got our very own scientist that makes the stuff and creates it. So we've got a research lab, manufacturing, distribution, everything is under one roof, a lot less moving parts, things can move quicker. And also it's just the very best. Nobody's saying, take this out. So as an example, this is 100% monk fruit as far as the sweetener, all natural flavoring, just the very best stuff. And fiber is not created equal. Different fibers feed different bugs. And that's one of the big things is we're discovering is so much of health or sickness begins in the colon. And one of the big things is not just that we're not getting enough fiber, we're not, but the right type of fiber feeds the right kind of bugs. And with that brain-gut connection and the right bacteria being just a critical factor to everything about our bodies, this is the right kind of fiber. And it's all very easy to take. It can change your whole life. Reading the label, reading this, you'd want to take it. Reduces risk of cardiovascular disease, helps lower cholesterol, stabilizes blood sugar, supports colon and gut health, stimulates the growth of the right kind of bacteria, aids in removal of toxins from the digestive tract. This is an amazing game changer. One of the things I love about this is if people are concerned about blood sugar, if they're measuring it, the very next day, they're probably going to see better numbers. A big deal product. Most of America, we just don't get enough. Betty Kamen, I got to know her from another company years ago, and we were having dinner one time, and she brought up this little couplet that stuck in my mind. She said, wherever in the world there's small stools, there's big hospitals, and wherever there's big stools, there's small hospitals. But this is a game changer, an important product. And I think I passed a thing here. I don't know what happened here. Okay, Plus Energy. I love Plus Energy, and so do a lot of people. If you go to a truck stop, you're going to find all sorts of energy drinks or wherever. And looking at the bottle, it might be a little familiar with some of the other products that are out there, but this is not a bunch of chemicals. This is something that Rick developed along with some Russian clinical studies. In fact, ADX7 is imported from Georgia, and adaptogenic. They're the people that kind of coined the whole idea about adaptogens. Adaptogens are substances that help the body adapt to stress. And there's some complicated, hard to spell herbs that just have this adaptogenic effect where it helps the body cope with stress. Back in earlier days with cosmonauts wanting to create super soldiers, certainly to win in the Olympics and not flunk blood tests, they looked for natural sources of things that could help the body perform better without any damage or showing side effects or showing up on blood tests. And that's what they came up with. Also, most of the things out there with caffeine, it's synthetic. It actually is stronger than natural source caffeine. And that's what a lot of people like. But guarana has associated nutrients that tone it down. Also tempered with L-theanine gives you a calming energy and just a more natural approach to having just better mental acuity, just working and performing better. Lots of stories where they're measuring performance, whether they're just watching their pickleball game or gamers that processing things, or just handing this to somebody that's older, watching the delight as all of a sudden they're able to form sentences better. And just an amazing product. And oh my goodness, it's got some clinoptilolite in it as well. Okay, plus relief. It's been said that almost half of the population has some degree of chronic pain. And if you look at the normal ways of pain relief with drugs, especially prescription drugs, perhaps some of the most heinous side effects there are pain relief meds. Even the ones that are over the counter can really mess you up. As an example, the number one cause of liver failure and kidney failure is over-the-counter pain meds. And what if you could actually have something that had all the good with none of the bad? Rick is one of the leading authorities in the world of animal venomous things. So he studied everything from poison cone snails. In fact, he discovered a new species, and so his wife has a poison cone snail named after her. Gia monsters. But one of the things that I think is really cool is in just Asian cobras, there's a particular neuropeptide that has some wondrous properties. And we've got a farm of 300 plus Asian cobras, and they're milked. And there's a particular neuropeptide extracted from this. It's diluted 10,000 to 1, so it's no longer really dangerous. It's also denatured, but just isolated by itself, it has this unique property of, you get into natural chemical pathways and things. Well, this actually dramatically affects how pain is perceived in the brain, but also this same neuropeptide has the ability to modulate inflammation. So it tones down and controls pain and gives a better response to inflammation, all with zero side effects, no toxicity. It's not habit forming. In fact, quite to the contrary, as you continue to use it, you actually start using less and less of it with better and better results. And over time, it actually appears to be good for the nerves. And so people will actually notice improvements in how they can feel and things like that. So this is an amazing product. It's available in two topical solutions, one a gel, and then one a roll-on, and then it's also available as an oral spray to use systemically, but ideal for long-term use. In fact, a lot of people use it preemptively, like if they have regular headaches, and you could just take it all the time, and wow, may you never know what you're preventing. Nano silver. If you're a health nut, you probably have a bottle or two in your cupboard already. And one of the things that is really wonderful about silver is it can work. Silver was a breakthrough years ago. People that were burn victims, they usually didn't die from the burn itself, they died from infection. And silver revolutionized that. And a lot of people, including Rick, felt, I love silver, on the outside of the body, but on the inside, it has too many side effects. As an example, if you take normal colloidal silver, well, if you keep taking it, it gets trapped, it gets stuck in the body and eventually accumulates, builds up to the point where you can actually see skin discoloration, agraria, or turning into a Smurf, but not the pretty blue, more kind of a ashen silver gray. It's not good for you. Also, colloidal silver being too big, so it gets stuck. The other extreme is if it gets too small and is ionic, then it can actually get inside cells and really disrupt the biological mechanics of just normal healthy cells, acting as a fact like a heavy metal. But what if you could actually do some precise nano engineering? I don't know how they do this, but they're able to make uniform little silver balls that are about 200 atoms apiece, and to stabilize it so it won't aggregate or kind of come out of suspension and fall on the bottom or dissolute and become ionic. It's stabilized with a monocoating of silver oxide. So it just is very stable, has a great shelf life. And what's interesting is that size. To give you a sort of mental picture, if average regular colloidal silver, if that particle size was maybe the size of a school bus, this would be the size more of a matchbox car. Just an order of magnitude smaller, very stable. And as you make it smaller, it magnifies the surface area. As an example, 100 years ago, if you were in the dairy business, you might actually take a silver dollar and throw it in your milk pail, and that would help the milk stay fresh longer. But if somehow you could slice that silver dollar in half so it was half as thick, if you think about that, the surface area would remain essentially the same. If you did it one more time, it'd be a fourth of the amount of silver, but the coin would be 1/4 as thick. However, the surface area would remain the same. Well, what if you could do that 1,000 times or 100,000 times? Then that's the idea of colloidal silver. What if you could take that even further? Now you've got an unimaginable amount of surface area in small particles that are able to make direct contact with the components of pathogens that makes them deadly and just mess them up. So this is just the very best size for antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and even antiparasitic. And they've actually measured, this does not accumulate. So one drop of this has over 1 trillion little tiny safe silver balls, and they eliminate out of the body within 24 hours. It's also available in a topical gel. It's wonderful on the outside still, and the gel keeps it in place. Trim science. So we've got the fiber, we've got the cell defender. Both of those have been helping people with weight loss. One of the things I think is really fascinating is just this idea, and you can actually look this up. There really is words like toxobesity or obesogens. And so heavy metals, all the bad stuff they do, they also help make us overweight, because in your way to deal with those things, your body thinks, I got to sequester these somewhere. Well, it stores it in the fat. And then the fat becomes resistant because your body doesn't want to deal with it again. Some of the reasons we have yucky feelings when we lose weight is that stuff can be released and cause that problem. That's what's really cool about taking Cell Defender, is when that's removed, the body just kind of thinks, oh, I can let this go. And so a lot of people, without any conscious effort, have lost weight just getting on the wonderful Cell Defender that everybody should be on. Everybody should be on plus fiber. Now, here's the cool thing about plus fiber. One of the reasons it helps with blood sugar is by taking it, it slows down the absorption of especially simple sugars and things like that. So everything's burning slower. Kind of like eating sugar, to me, is like throwing a piece of paper on a fire, just whoosh, a burst of flame, and then it's gone. If you threw a log on a fire, that's a better glycemic index, and so it burns slower. Well, this fiber just helps things burn slower, so it smooths out your blood sugar. Also, just having something in there gives you satisfaction, so you feel more satisfied. So if you could smooth out blood sugar and also help heavy metals get out of the way so your fat can be re-released, that's a big thing. Well, add to that some herbs that Rick has been working with for other drinks and other companies. And so pulling this out of the vault, some of the very best, about a dozen different herbs that do all sorts of things as far as thermogenesis, blocking carbohydrate, the proper function of how lipids work, appetite suppression, all sorts of different things that aid. And so we have a triad of a drink. You can take that one or two times a day. Taking the Cell Defender and the fiber could be a game changer without really having to feel like, oh man, I'm on a diet and this is restrictive and I can only take it for so long, and okay, I've had enough, I'm going to go back the way I was. And then of course everything goes back the way it was, and your body thinks, oh, I'm used to being this amount of weight, and that comes back. This is something where you can actually adopt this and just have a better lifestyle going forward, and you're going to be lighter and happier and healthier. This is our newest release, and this is something is also a re-release. Rick, 20 years ago, was going around the world helping professional athletes perform better. He had professional clubs actually saying, because of this, we won, thank you. He was actually skated out onto the ice. And Germany, that particular club, they won the hockey European Cup, and they attribute it to this product right here, or the earlier version of it. So this is a big deal. This is not your typical Gatorade. When I first looked at Gatorade, I didn't know anything about it. So I just thought, wow, this is just Kool-Aid with some salt in it. Sugar, salt, artificial flavors and colors. Interestingly, to have proper hydration, you actually need water, electrolytes, and carbs at the same time. When that's presented to the body, it helps it introduce into the cells, so the cells are more hydrated. There's a book by a doctor called Your Body's Many Cries for Water, and it actually, the subtitle says, you're not sick, you are thirsty. Well, so much of health is proper hydration. So this is a big deal, but especially if you're putting your body through stress where you're sweating out more stuff than you can gain. And so you just drink more water, it can't enter those cells as effectively. And that's why when you're in high performance and really doing exertion, this could be a game changer because it allows water to go into those cells and stay there. For practical purposes, Rick talked about maybe having some of this before you go to bed so your cells are properly hydrated rather than just going through you. He talks about how many of these hydration drinks, when you drink them, you can almost feel it hit your stomach, where this, your body just takes a drink of water when you're taking this product. And again, it fits in with all of the other products as well as helping. So here's a big deal product. We have a whole gamut of some wonderful products that'll change your life. You might be thinking, do I want to take all of that? That's a lot of stuff. Well, one of the things I think that's really, really wonderful is, okay, everybody needs Cell Defender. That is just a common thing. We live on a world that has all of these toxins. If you could take a shower on the inside of your body every day, when you take this, helping remove that, your body's just going to be happier. But wait a minute, we all need more fiber, and so many problems are caused by what we could say dysbiosis, the wrong bugs that are living in us. This could be a game changer. Who wouldn't want a better immune system? Do that. Have some silver on hand. If you feel a scratchy throat coming on or your eyes are kind of burning, take some of that. If you're hurting, this is a better answer than taking pain meds. So we've got the right kind of product developed by the right kind of people. So here's just some pictures of the three main principles of our company. We've got some other people that are helping us make this stuff and get it out there. Wonderful, dedicated people. But Rick and Liz on the left, that's our famed biochemist. And in the middle, Neil and Claire. Neil's background, brilliant mathematician. That's his background. Originally wanted to be an astronaut, messed up his knees, nuclear physicist, very smart guy. But he loves people and he loves business. So early on, when he couldn't do the astronaut thing, he was working at a drugstore, made his way up to the top, a main executive in billion-dollar drugstore chains. On the other hand, there's a price to pay for that. He's passionate about people and business, but working 70 or 80 hours, not a family-friendly environment. When Rexall came along, he knew about drugstores, and this company deciding to take that trusted name and go network marketing, creating $1 billion nutrition product company. He got involved with that, became a triple diamond, understood the most pure, wonderful, equitable way you could ever do business, network marketing, just the pure essence. Every business loves referrals, and just having it all where you can go out and have all the fun, where the company does all the work and creates the licensing and the government interaction and the product and everything. Brilliant. And so Rick and Neil met each other, became fast friends, and have done a lot of things together over the years. So that's a long time relationship of getting close to 25 years. Doug Dickey, Doug and Gabby on the right, he's the vice president of sales. And Doug had some really serious health crises that were ameliorated by these products, specifically the Cell Defender. And so he came on. And so these guys, very thoughtful, dedicated, wonderful people that in my history of doing this kind of stuff, I've loved health products myself. I've been with several different companies. This is the first instance where I'm with a company that is super competent and trustworthy. It's just, and my very favorite products, and the novelty of being on the very beginning, and yet everything about us, the people, the product, everything has a long track record. So all of us have had a few rodeos, and yet it's brand new, a year and a half old. This is absolutely amazing. With the intent of just simply making the very best products and making them available. And that's why this company was born, was just taking care of the driver's seat, being in your own driver's seat rather than having other people and depending on them, and they drive the company off into a ditch. And so after 20 years of working with this, we've got our own control. It's just amazing. And so we've got the products that shipped out as quick as possible. This company respects and loves people, the distributors force. We're paid well and paid on time. That's all good stuff. And so more than anything, fundamentally, you really should use these products. But also, what makes a business go, whether you're a plumber or if you own a restaurant or you're a dentist, every business loves referrals. And so we hope you'll try the product, but also it'll probably be a natural tendency, because all of us, when we believe in something, we share it with the people that we love. And so if you've tried a nice restaurant, you'll probably tell your friends. You'll probably do that with this as well. And we might ask you, if you're going to help other people for free, maybe consider becoming a distributor. It's very easy to do so. Simply purchase an activation pack, and there's a variety of ones that you can choose. Getting one of these packs going forward, you're a distributor. No renewals, no monthly things that you have to do. A lot of extra stuff added at no cost compared to other companies, like a wonderful personal web page, an app that you can use. Encourage you to look into that if you haven't, and just get this pack at a really good price. And when you get that, this is due diligence. This is product and samples, and you're sharing it with other people. So this event right here, joining, not only in and of itself is tax deductible, but once you are in business for yourself, everything changes with your relationship with the IRS. It's one of the best things you can do is own a business. And so here we are. We're not just a business, and a business, you could say, what's the purpose of a business? To make a profit. But if you go deeper into it, the purpose of a business is to solve a problem. And again, the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. We're solving problems, one person at a time. And we're created to make a difference. I think when we look at our purpose in life, we want to feel like we're doing something that matters. Our company, we're in the life-changing business. I've always admired Steve Jobs. Apple's great, but leadership, that is everything. And every organization is the extended shadow of the leader. And also a leader is a good storyteller. And so here we go. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller, according to Steve Jobs. The storyteller sets the vision, values and agenda of an entire generation that is to come. Well, we've got a wonderful story to tell. Success in this business is just learning how to tell our story, telling it well, telling it often, telling it consistently to good people over time. And this is how it works. In fact, drawing this out, our comp plan, the business structure is you find 3 really good people that love health, want to make a difference, and you'd love to have them as friends anyway. We'll get those people as your key people. You can only get 3. Now, you can get as many as you want, but as you continue to sponsor new people, what happens is the structure is just finding 3 good ones and then growing roots underneath those 3 people and teaching everybody to do the same. So teach 3 to reach 3. And so it looks like this as it fills in, but as you go down, just looking for good people and finding other good people and placing them under. So it makes it a very cooperative, very collaborative form of entrepreneurship. Wow, the collaborative entrepreneur working together, doing something that I believe is irresistible. We all want to belong to something. And Avini, what we do is we're creating a club that people want to belong to, that's doing work that really matters, that's making a difference. And to look at a book, Change Your World, by John Maxwell, the world needs changing. And if you thought that a lot of the good or the bad is done by one person who starts an idea, well, we've got a great idea. And in that book, it says something very simplistic, but very powerful. I experienced something so life-changing that I change. I share something so life-changing that you change. And together we facilitate something so life-changing that others change, and just carrying that forward. And quoting Susan Scott, this powerful idea, our work, our relationships, our very lives succeed or fail one conversation at a time. Well, what if you actually purposefully learned the conversation and went out there with the intent to make a difference, and you actually had a plan to follow, and you did that? So, wow, here's a way to have some really wonderful conversations, meet a lot of new friends, make a difference in the world. And so what we have is an invitation to change your whole life by changing other people's lives. But would like to thank you for taking a look at this and assure you that this is real. The products are amazing and the timing's right. An immeasurable market. Everybody needs this. And so, wow, the opportunity is yours, and seize this moment. Thank you.